The Billionaire's shocking love for black women, how one woman changed his life forever. In a world where love stories often unfold in predictable patterns, one man's infatuation defies all norms, flipping the script in the most astonishing way. Imagine a billionaire, cloistered in his ivory tower of wealth, suddenly captivated by a woman whose voice echoes with a melody unfamiliar to him. Lisa, a waitress with a radiant smile that could light up the darkest room, enters his life, flipping his reality upside down. Their story isn't just about love, it's about passion, strife, and the magnetic pull of attraction that transcends barriers. The first time they met, it was like a scene from a movie. Her laughter was a siren-esque call, drawing him in. The way she moved, confidence in every step, left him awestruck. She wore her black skin like armor, a stunning combination of beauty and resilience. The moment their eyes locked, the air crackled, alive with an energy neither could ignore. But it wasn't just fascination. There was something deeper, something gut-wrenching, but that was only the beginning. As their paths intertwined, layers of intrigue unraveled. Lisa had secrets. Dark ones that shimmered beneath the surface like a hidden treasure. Rumors swirled, whispers of a past entwined with mystery and danger. Could the charming waitress really be who she claimed? Or was she a ghost of something buried long ago? As the billionaire dove deeper into her world, his heart raced, the stakes climbing higher with each revelation. Friends raised their eyebrows, skepticism etched into their faces. What is he thinking? They'd murmur, casting wary glances. But he paid them no mind, he was entranced by Lisa's laughter and the undeniable pull towards her. Just when everything seemed perfect, a chilling twist threatened to shatter their newfound bond. A looming threat cast a shadow over their love, and it was growing closer, an echo that made his heart pound. Every silent moment felt heavier, filled with unspoken fears. The kind that gnawed at the edges of their bliss and left secrets lurking like restless ghosts. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. Caught in the whirlwind of emotions, he felt a tightness in his chest. Was this love worth the risk? As the tension mounted, their destinies hung precariously in the balance. What secrets buried deep within Lisa would come to light? And would their love withstand the pressure of the truth? With every heartbeat echoing the urgency of their situation, he couldn't help but wonder how far they'd go to protect what they had and what they could lose. Everything felt different after that first date. The whirlwind of emotions spun around them like a storm, and while he was exhilarated, anxiety crept in like a thief in the night. Each time his phone buzzed, he held his breath, half expecting a message from Lisa, but the uncomfortable truth began to set in. Unraveled whispers followed them, echoing around his social circle. Friends began to pull away, their concerned faces spoke volumes. She's trouble, they cautioned softly, their words hanging in the air like a miasma of doubt. He brushed them off, yet unease nestled in his stomach, growing with each passing day. Lisa carried an aura that bewitched him, but there were shadows behind her radiant smile. The questions danced like fireflies, flickering just out of reach. What really lay beneath the surface? He couldn't help but wonder how many secrets were tucked away in her heart. It was a late evening when the tension finally spiraled into an urgent confrontation. They sat in his lavish penthouse, the city skyline glittering outside, a stark contrast to the turmoil brewing within. "There's something going on, Lisa," he said, the sense of dread settling heavily in his chest. "You can't hide it anymore." She looked at him, eyes flickering with uncertainty. "What do you mean?" she asked, playing with the hem of her dress as if the fabric could unravel her truths. The silence stretched endlessly, filled with an unvoiced fear. He leaned forward. "I know there's more to you. I want to help, but I need to know what I'm dealing with. The weight of his words hung in the air. For a moment, vulnerability pierced through her confident facade. I didn't want you to get hurt, she whispered, her voice trembling. What do you mean? He felt his pulse quicken as he braced himself for the storm. With a shaky breath, she glanced away, her expression shifting to one of distress. I'm not who you think I am. My past, it's dangerous. There are people I ran from, and they could come looking for me. Looking for you? Why? A faraway look swept across her face. There was a man. A powerful man who knew how to turn lives upside down. I thought I escaped, but her voice trailed off, as if the words became too heavy to bear. His stomach clenched with fear. The shadows surrounding Lisa were no longer mere hints but dark figures closing in. What did you do? He pressed, concerned for both their safety. They took everything from me and I vowed to never go back. Her eyes shone with unshed tears. And I thought I could leave it all behind when I met you. Their dreams of love danced precariously on the brink of destruction, and a sickening feeling lodged in his throat. So, you've been running. This is why you've kept me at arm's length. I had to protect you. I can't let them hurt you too. Her raw emotion shook him to the core. They were entangled in a web of consequences that threatened to strangle their connection. He grasped her hands tight, an anchor in a sinking ship. We'll face this together, he vowed, but doubt pooled in his mind. As the weight of her past loomed over them, a chilling sound echoed from the entrance. A sharp knock reverberated through the silence, sending a shiver up his spine. Who is that? Lisa gasped, pulling away slightly. He stood up, heart racing. I don't know. With the threat of danger drawing closer, they both knew they were running out of time. What awaited them on the other side of that door? His heart pounded like a drum, knocking in rhythm with unspoken fears. Would love be enough to shield them from the ghosts of her past, or was this truly the beginning of the end? His hand hovered above the doorknob, hesitating as if it were a live wire. The knock echoed again, urgent and unyielding. Fear washed over him like ice water, and he turned to Lisa, whose face was a mix of worry and determination. We can't just ignore it, she urged, her eyes wide and pleading. That he nodded, steeling himself. Let us find out who it is. He twisted the knob and yanked the door open, revealing a glimmer of uncertainty under the hallway's dim light. Standing before him was a tall figure, cloaked in shadows that seemed to intertwine with the darkness of the night. The man was unfamiliar, but there was a coldness in his eyes that snuffed out any sense of warmth. Is Lisa here? He demanded, voice slicing through the tension. Panic surged through his veins like fire. Without fully processing his thoughts, he stepped into the hall. Who are you? What do you want? The question rushed out, frantic but firm. The man smirked, a chilling expression that didn't reach his eyes. I'm a friend of hers. She's been avoiding me. Thought it was time to catch up. Hardly seems friendly, Lisa interjected, stepping forward, her posture almost protective. Stay back, Lisa, the man warned, his gaze darting between them, calculating. I'd hate for anything to happen to your boyfriend. Her fingers trembled where they clasped a jeweled bracelet, glancing at him as if pleading for reassurance. The escalating danger became palpable, like an electric charge in the air. Who are you really? He pressed, pushing past the instinct to retreat. Someone who knows how to settle scores, the stranger replied, his tone dripping with menace. Lisa's past is catching up with her. You should know, running doesn't always mean escaping. At that moment, a creeping dread settled over him. The threat was real, and Lisa's nightmares were charging through the door like a storm, primed to tear them apart. You need to leave. Now. He found himself stepping closer, grounding himself against the fear threatening to spiral. The man raised an eyebrow, folding his arms. You think you can protect her? You don't know what you're dealing with. He took a breath, wrestling with the churn of anxiety. Whatever S in the past doesn't T have to control the future. Lisa is worth fighting for. A shadow of surprise flickered across the man's face before he chuckled darkly. Brave words for someone who's about to get burned. Just remember, you can't fight what you can't see. With that, the man turned and strode down the hall, fading into the shadows as the door slammed shut behind him. Silence enveloped the room, thick and heavy. What was that? Lisa asked, her voice shaking, cheeks pale. Just a scare, he said, though uncertainty gnawed at his insides. Was it really just a scare? He moved closer, holding her gaze, trying to anchor her in this moment. Is it over? She whispered, but even he could hear the tremor in her voice, the lingering dread coiling around their hearts. We'll figure it out, together, he assured, even as doubt flickered through his mind, an insistent whisper reminding him that danger might be lurking just out of sight. But would they be too late to protect their love from whatever lay in wait? As night thickened outside, a distant sound crept in. It came softly at first, growing louder. His phone buzzed on the kitchen counter, the screen lighting up with an unknown number. Please, don't answer, Lisa whispered, fear evident in her voice, but something deep inside him urged him on. Maybe it's just a coincidence, he murmured. But was it? He reached for the phone, the weight of its implications settling heavily in his chest. What awaited him on the other end? This time, he had to know. His fingers trembled slightly as they hovered over the phone, anticipation crackling in the air around them. The screen flashed again, and with each pulse, his heart raced faster. Come on, just pick it up, he whispered to himself, knowing Lisa's worried gaze was burning into him like a spotlight. Finally, he pressed the green button. Hello. His voice was steadier than he felt, but it was laced with tension, an undercurrent of fear that made every word feel like a gamble. A pause came on the line, thick with silence and something unsaid. Then, a voice cracked through, deep and gravelly, sending chills cascading down his spine. I hope you're ready for what's coming. His throat felt tight. Who is this? Someone who knows your girl's secrets. Someone who knows she's not as innocent as you believe. What do you want? His voice barely came out above a whisper. He glanced at Lisa, whose face had drained of all color. None of that matters now. The past is about to catch up, and when it does, you'll wish you never answered this call. The voice snickered, a chilling laughter that echoed like a taunt in his mind. Make sure she's close. The clock is ticking. Before he could respond, the line went dead. He stared at the phone, an icy sensation gripping his heart. What was that? He asked, but the question was aimed at the empty air between them. Lisa clutched his arm, her fingers digging in as if she feared he might vanish. What did they say? Her voice quivered, panic threading through each word. It was just some idiot trying to freak us out, he said, though his own uncertainty gnawed them both. Just like that guy at the door. This is all connected, isn't it? The hurt in her eyes pierced him, and he could see images of her past swirling in her mind, pulling her into shadows. I won't let anything happen to you, he insisted. We'll face this together. Just tell me what's going on, Lisa. I need to know. She trembled, caught between the fear of revealing her truth and the undeniable weight of his gaze. It's not how it seems. My past, it's complicated. Her voice was barely a whisper, dropping into a fragile tone that made his heart race. Complicated how? He pressed, desperate to understand the threat looming over them. He stepped closer, trying to dispel the darkness swirling around them. The man at the door, he's not just a ghost from my past. He's the very reason I left. She turned, eyes glossed over with unshed tears. When I thought I was free, it turns out I was wrong. The air thickened again. Each breath felt like a weight resting heavily on his chest. What did he mean about settling scores? What did you do? Her silence was deafening, her eyes flitting between fear and pain. We can't outrun our past, but we can confront it, he said, grasping her shoulders. Just tell me. I promise we'll find a way through this. Lisa hesitated, her breath hitching. You don't know the risks, you don't understand what we're up against. Then help me understand. I'm not leaving you. Not now, not ever. His voice trembled with urgency, determination hardening in his chest like steel. Suddenly, the lights flickered, and a loud crash echoed from the back of the house, a sound that shook the very foundation of their resolve. Panic clawed at his insides as he turned toward the noise. Stay here, he commanded, though he felt the panic rise like steam in the air. He grabbed a flashlight from the drawer and edged toward the darkened hallway, heart hammering in fear, every instinct screaming to protect Lisa from whatever lay ahead. Wait! She whimpered, but it was too late. He was already moving. As he stepped into the suffocating darkness, a shadow darted in the corner of his vision. Who is there? He shouted, voice loud enough to pierce the stillness. The silence that greeted him was thick and heavy, and then laughter cruel and mocking filled the air, echoing off the walls like a sinister promise. Suddenly, a silhouette emerged, familiar yet unsettling, the same menacing figure from earlier, this time standing deeper in the shadows. I told you running doesn't always mean escaping. The man said, his voice low and threatening. And for them both, he had never meant anything more true. Lisa! He shouted, but the darkness swallowed his words whole. What had he dragged them into? The grip of dread wrapped tighter around them. Did they have a chance against the shadows that were closing in fast? The shadows seemed to stretch and twist, lunging at him as if they had a mind of their own. His flashlight barely pierced the suffocating darkness, but he could see the figure more clearly now, eyes glinting with malice and a smirk that twisted his features into something grotesque. Let her go! He shouted, anger surging through him like a tidal wave. The echo of his voice bounced back, the empty house amplifying the sense of isolation around him. Why would I do that? The man stepped forward, drawing closer. Lisa's much more interesting when she's close to danger. His laughter was devoid of warmth, a chilling sound that sank deep into Daniel's bones. Don't you dare hurt her. Daniel's fists clenched, the frustration and adrenaline churning into a potent mix. Every instinct urged him to fight. Yet, there was a nagging voice in the back of his mind, warning him that this man was trouble, the kind that seeped into the fabric of life and twisted it into knots of despair. Behind him, the hushed rustle of movement made him pivot. Lisa! He called, scanning the darkness that enveloped her. Where are you? Daniel! Her voice was strained, filled with terror that mirrored his own. I'm here. I am scared. The man chuckled, stepping closer, relishing the chaos he'd woven. You waste your breath shouting for her. She can't save you, and neither can you save her. He took a deliberate step forward, and Daniel's heart raced. Stay back. But the warning felt hollow, echoing in the air as the man continued toward him, each movement calculated and taunting. The shadows enveloped them both, the darkness suffocating the light until it flickered on the brink of extinguishing entirely. Do you want to know what she did? His voice was like poison, laced with delight. You think you know her, but I have the real story, the one that's buried beneath her pretty smile. No, Daniel breathed, a cold dread pooling in his stomach. You're lying. Oh, I assure you, I'm not, the man said, his eyes narrowing with malicious excitement. But you're standing in the way, just like you always do. She'll never be free from her past. And trust me, it's coming for you both. Daniel felt the floor shift under him, reality cracking as he tried to grasp the weight of those words. The man was dangerous, and his innuendos felt like daggers, each one poised to unravel the fragile truth of Lisa. Stop, he whispered, desperation creeping into his voice. Just tell her she is safe. Just let us go. Safe? The man burst into laughter. She was never safe. Not from me. Not from what she has done. This is just the beginning. You'll see. In the dim light, Daniel turned to face Lisa, who was now stepping forward, her expression wrought with anguish and defiance. Daniel, no. She called. You don't understand. What do you mean? He shouted back, frustration boiling over as he felt the chasm between them widening. Just tell me the truth. All of it. The man watched their exchange, relishing the turmoil. You think you can handle it, tough guy? The kind of truth that can shatter everything you thought you knew? Lisa's eyes widened, and despair washed over her features. I didn't want this for you. Not like this. I thought I could keep you safe from what, Lisa? Daniel's voice dropped, barely above a whisper. What's the truth? But before she could respond, the darkness swirled around them, pulsating with menace as if conjuring a storm. The man's laughter grew louder, fading into a sinister echo that swallowed the very air. Suddenly, a sound cut through the chaos, a piercing shriek from outside that sent shockwaves through Daniel's heart. The laughter shattered as the chilling wail rattled the walls, and instinct kicked in. Stay close. He yelled, grabbing Lisa's hand, pulling her toward him as they both braced for the unknown that lurked just beyond the shadows. The chilling laughter didn't cease, it transformed into something more threatening. The man loomed over them, shadows gathering around him like a shroud of darkness. What's coming for you both, he said, voice dripping with wicked anticipation, is far worse than either of you could ever imagine. As the world around them twisted in shadow, Daniel felt the weight of dread clawing at his throat. Were they truly ready for the truth that threatened to upend everything? And as they stood at the precipice of confrontation, he could only wonder what darkness were they about to unearth. The echoes of that shriek hung heavily in the air, wrapping around Daniel like an uncomfortable shroud. Lisa's grip tightened around his hand, her breath quickening as if she sensed the impending doom swirling around them. A pulsing energy filled the space, thick with danger and uncertainty. Daniel, she murmured, her eyes darting to the man who loomed dangerously close. We need to get out of here. But his feet felt rooted to the floor, paralyzed by the sinister glimmer in the man's eyes. But what did you mean? He insisted, his voice strained and ragged. What truth? The man folded his arms, a smirk still plastered across his face, as if they were mere pawns in a twisted game. Oh, you really want to know? You crave the ugly reality behind that pretty facade. Shut up. Daniel shot back, anger flaring. He could feel the tension rising, each heartbeat echoing in protest to the oppressive silence. Now, the man said, his tone mocking. You won't even fathom what she did. It's best you don't know. Trust me, the truth has teeth-sharp ones. Lisa's voice broke, stepping forward even more. Daniel, stop. Please listen to me. Why would I listen to him? He spat, pointing at the man. He's playing with us. Because he knows, she said, each word heavy with emotion. He knows things no one else does, things I've kept hidden. A gust of wind rattled through the house, shaking the dust from the rafters, and for a moment, the shadows withdrew slightly, revealing memories lost in the dark. Daniel could see hints of her panic, the desperation in her eyes, but a part of him felt betrayed. Why didn't you tell me? He searched her gaze for answers, wrestling with his own confusion. Lisa had always conveyed strength, resilience, but now she looked vulnerable, winter's chill settling between them. Because she hesitated, breathing in deeply, as if preparing for a leap. I wanted to protect you, I didn't want you to suffer because of me. Protect me? Daniel scoffed, the rage bubbling beneath the surface. Look where we are. This is sacrifice, not protection. Enough. The man bellowed, sending their arguments spiraling into the ethers of darkness. You two are playing with fire, and fire burns. This game is only beginning, and the end, oh, it will be glorious. Slick shadows curled behind him, pressing against the walls like grasping fingers, and Daniel felt the walls closing in, a vice around his chest. Then, amidst the chaos, came another sound, a soft but purposeful thud, followed by a desperate voice breaking through the storm. Help! Is anyone there? Daniel felt the chill of recognition sweep over him. That voice, it belonged to Sarah. Without thinking, he turned to Lisa, urgency clawing at his throat. "We need to go now." "Yes, out there." But the man let out a dark chuckle, his oppressive form towering as he stepped closer, invading their space. "And what, pray tell, do you think your precious little friend can do? People like her are just distractions. Don't listen to him." Lisa urged, her hand still holding firmly onto his. "We can't leave her." Fear churned in Daniel's gut. He looked back toward where the voice originated, the pangs of indecision eating away at his resolve. The shadows danced, and the threat of losing Lisa hung in the air, while save Sarah from whatever darkness awaited them seemed impossible. "Make a choice," the man taunted, his eyes sparkling with malicious delight. "Run to the girl who's begging for you, or confront the truth that will change everything about the woman you love." The tension snapped like a taut wire, and Daniel felt the world inch away in slow motion. What would he choose? Take a chance on Lisa's truth, or risk it all for a friend caught in the darkness? "Daniel!" Lisa pleaded, her voice breaking through the haze of uncertainty. With darkness closing in, he knew one thing: the choice he made would unleash a cascade of consequences unlike any other. And as the shadows swallowed them deeper, he realized the truth wasn't just a choice, it was the path leading to their ultimate confrontation. Would they dare tread into the depths together? Or would they let the darkness claim them both? A cold sweat trickled down Daniel's back as he faced that man, the weight of his choice heavy and suffocating. The flickering shadows formed grotesque shapes on the walls, reaching like hungry beasts, and he felt the pulse of danger swell around him. The voice calling for help from outside echoed in his mind, a sweet melody tainted with dread. "Sarah," he breathed, the desperation tightening his chest. "What if she's hurt?" "Stay with me, Daniel," Lisa urged, stepping closer, her voice a lifeline in the tempest. But even her warmth seemed to radiate uncertainty. "Stay." The man chuckled darkly, his grin widening. "That's rich. Would you prefer to be blindsided by betrayal, or be a hero to a girl who's already trapped in shadows?" "It makes no difference to me." Daniel's heart raced, caught in an unruly storm of emotions. Betrayal gnawed at him, but his instinct screamed that Sarah needed him. Every second he hesitated felt like another moment lost in the dark. "Choose, Daniel," Lisa echoed, her grip tightening. "Let us face this together. Whatever it is, that truth, it doesn't change how I feel about you." He looked into her eyes, swirling depths of fear and an undeniable flicker of hope. But the shadows coiled tighter, and another cry pulled at the core of his being. "I can't. I can't just leave her." "Then go." The man hissed, his voice a dagger aimed at Daniel's resolve. "Run to your friend. But know this: every step you take towards her pulls you further away from the truth. And when the truth comes for you," the shadows shrieked in agreement, twisting into a cacophony of nightmares. The house shuddered, walls dripping with an icy dread that seeped into Daniel's bones. Swallowing hard, Daniel ripped his gaze from the ominous specter. "Let us go, Lisa." "We're getting Sarah," he commanded, his voice a single thread woven through the chaos. Together, they turned toward the door, only for a force great as gravity to slam into them. Shadows erupted from the corners, swirling with spine-chilling intent as the house trembled under the weight of dark magic. "Foolish!" the man bellowed, his voice echoing and warping as if the house itself had come alive with rage. "You'll regret this choice." The door loomed ahead, bathed in a soft, inviting light that seemed to shimmer with possibility. Taking a deep breath, Daniel thrust himself into the light, dragging Lisa with him. Every muscle in his body screamed to hold on to face the darkness head-on, but he forced himself forward, for Sarah's sake. "Stay close," Daniel shouted, propelling himself through the door. The oppressive weight of the shadows pushed behind them, furious and relentless. Outside, the world felt like a fresh wound, stark, raw, and too bright after the gloom. The air crackled, and even the silence pounded in Daniel's ears, urging him to listen for the sound of Sarah's voice. Sarah! Where are you? He called, his throat tight with desperation. Daniel? The voice drifted, a haunting echo that both calmed and frightened him. He saw flickers of movement in the trees, shadows flitting like spirits lost in the dusk. Keep moving. Lisa urged, pulling him forward. They navigated through the chaos, the terrain jagged with broken branches and unseen threats. Every step reverberated with uncertainty, and the gnawing fear of failure clawed deeper into Daniel's gut, but then, as he scanned the darkening woods, something flickered. There she was, huddled behind an old oak, pale and trembling but alive. Help! Sarah cried, her face a portrait of panic. Danny! She breathed as he rushed toward her. But before he could reach out, a chilling laughter echoed from behind them, cloaked in darkness. Your sweet savior can't protect you forever. Can she bear the truth? Daniel turned, heart pounding, but the shadows surged around him, twisting and lifting like a living tidal wave. Just as he felt the pull of darkness close in, the urgency of the moment wrapped around him like barbed wire. Did he dare confront what lay behind him, or save the one person who counted on him most? In that fleeting heartbeat, he realized the man's taunts were only just the beginning. What truth would he uncover if he turned back, and was he ready to face it when the shadows closed in? Daniel's breath hitched as he felt the shadows twist around him, a relentless force trying to drag him into their suffocating embrace. The acrid scent of fear charged the air. Time slowed, the world around him blurring into a distorted nightmare. Daniel, don't. We can't stay here. Lisa's voice pierced through the haze of dread, pulling him back from the brink. She was right. The shadows writhed with an almost sentient hunger, and he could feel their creeping tendrils reaching for his very soul. Sarah! He screamed, desperation overtaking him. He pivoted back to her, his heart racing into a whirlwind of panic and rage. The sight of her trembling behind the oak sent a jolt of clarity through him. She was the reason he had to fight. Danny, please. Sarah whimpered, tears glistening on her pale cheeks. Daniel could see her fear, but he could also see a plea for strength, a quiet request for him to act. With a rush of adrenaline, he took a bold step toward her. But the shadows responded with a vicious howl, a torrent of dark energy sweeping past him like a storm. You think she's worth your sacrifice? The man's laughter echoed again, a venomous melody that sent chills down Daniel's spine. Stop! Leave her alone! But as he shouted, another figure emerged from the edge of the trees. Tall, imposing, a silhouette against the last remnants of twilight. It felt like a trick of the light, an apparition rising from the darkness. Was it another threat or a flicker of hope? Let her go! Shouted the figure, striding forward with kingly authority. The ground seemed to tremor beneath the weight of this new presence. In the moment Daniel's gaze flicked back toward Sarah, the shadows lunged. Without thought, Daniel dashed to her side, wrapping his arms around her. The chill that radiated from behind felt like ice slithering down his spine. He was shielded from it, but the darkness didn't retreat. It spiraled closer, almost tasting his resolve. Stay back! Cried the stranger, raising his hands, palms wide as if to push back the oncoming storm. Light flared at his fingertips, cutting through the thick oppressive darkness like a knife. Who are you? Daniel shouted, his voice trembling with urgency, straddling the thin line between fear and hope. Someone who knows the truth, the stranger replied, his voice a low growl that resonated with unyielding strength. And someone who can save your friend. For a fraction of a second, the figure's eyes met Daniel's, the intensity wrapping around them both, igniting a flicker of recognition deep inside Daniel's mind. Sarah, stay close. He commanded, moving slightly to shield her with his body. He felt the shadows swirl around them, but the glow from the stranger surged, forcing them back. What truth? Daniel demanded, pushing aside his panic. What are you talking about? The man took a step closer, and the shadows quivered as if in fear. You are closer to the answer than you know, but truth reveals more than it hides. A chilling laugh erupted from the darkness as the original man's visage swirled, angered and frustrated. This isn't a game. You'll soon see the truth you uncover will shatter everything you believe. Daniel tightened his grip on Sarah. His pulse quickened, the weight of their survival clashing against the chaotic shadows. Are you ready, Daniel? The stranger asked, his eyes glinting with an unsettling mix of knowing and urgency. Ready for what? He replied, apprehension creeping in. Ready to face the darkness and pull Sarah out of its grasp. Or will you surrender to the shadows and let them take her? Every nerve screamed at Daniel to hold on to the light, to fight, to grasp the fleeting thread of hope. The whispers of doubt clung to his thoughts, and the uneasy transition between the known and the unknown surged like an electric charge in his veins. Behind him, the shadows lurked. Ahead lay the possibility of answers, but at what cost? What was the dark truth that lay ahead, and could he handle it if it meant saving Sarah? The stakes had never been higher, and so he took a deep breath, preparing for the unknown. Daniel's heart slammed against his ribcage as the man's question echoed in the charged air. Ready to face the darkness? It felt both like a challenge and a promise, the kind that sent flickers of fear dancing in his gut. Do it! Lisa shouted, desperation surging through her voice. Before it's too late. He glanced back at Sarah. Her wide, tear-filled eyes begged him to make a choice. Protect her, or let the darkness take everything they loved. Daniel nodded at the stranger, an unspoken agreement hanging thick between them. Let us do this. He shouted. The stranger stepped forward, his hands still raised, glowing fiercely like two miniature suns. The shadows shrieked as they recoiled, giving Daniel a momentary sense of power. Follow me. Don't look back. Shooting into action, Daniel pulled Sarah closer, sprinting after the stranger as he led them into the thick woods. The trees loomed like guardians, their branches twisting and creaking in response to the looming terror. The darkness roared behind them, a cacophony of screams and unearthly whispers, clawing at their heels. Don't stop. No matter what you hear. The man urged as they plunged deeper into the woods. The air thickened, every breath a struggle, and Daniel felt the weight of shadows pressing against him like vice grips. He could see unsettling flashes in the corners of his visions of twisted faces, memories of heartbreak that taunted him. What are they? He gasped, struggling to keep pace. Fear, the stranger replied, his tone steady despite the chaos swirling around them. It has a form, and it's here to drag you back. The words landed hard in Daniel's chest. Fear wasn't just an emotion, it was a monster, one that thrived on the deepest insecurities, the darkest pasts. He thought of his childhood lost connections, the weight of expectations crushing him. The faces of doubt and ridicule flashed before him. Daniel! Stay focused! Sarah cried. The urgency in her voice shattered the walls of his despair. He glanced at her, realizing her belief in him was a lifeline. Keep moving forward. The man urged again. The truth lies up ahead. When it is revealed, it will weaken the shadows. They reached a clearing, the haze around them lifting. An ancient stone altar lay in the center, adorned with decipherable runes shimmering faintly under the moonlight. Daniel's breath caught in his throat as the stranger approached it, eyes blazing. This is the heart of darkness. He proclaimed, the energy pulsating around him like a heartbeat. What do we do? Daniel demanded, confusion sparking through his mind. Speak your truth, the man instructed, looking at him. You must confront your own darkness to weaken them. Daniel's thoughts whirled. What truth? He never vocalized the pain of his past, the fears that clung like shadows in his mind. But as he faced the altar, he could feel the pull, the urgent need to declare his evasive truths. He took a deep breath, stepping toward the stone. I'm afraid I'll lose everyone I love. His voice cracked, raw and vulnerable. I'm terrified of failure that I won't be enough. As the words escaped him, the shadows screeched against the sound, cringing as if struck by a physical blow. The stranger nodded, emboldened. "Shout it louder. I'm scared of the truth." Daniel shouted, the fierce emotion igniting the air around them. "Of facing who I really am." With each confession, a beam of light pierced the darkness, rippling outward and weakening the grip of fear's form. Glimmering threads began to weave around him, binding the shadows, pulling them tight. "Keep going," the man encouraged. "Let it out." Daniel felt a surge rising, fueled by the truths he'd long buried. "I'm ashamed of my past. Afraid that I'm unworthy of love. That I'll end up alone like I always feared." In an explosion of power, light dove down into the altar, sending a shockwave throughout the clearing. The shadows writhed in agony, flickering like candle flames caught in a storm. But then he heard it, the sinister laughter, more potent than before, echoing throughout the woods. "Your truths will not save you." It snapped like a whip, filled with malice. "You cannot escape what you truly are." Daniel's confidence wavered, the dread seeping back into his bones. He felt an urge to shrink, to let the shadows swallow him whole. But as despair gripped him, he glanced at Sarah and Lisa, their faces determined. With trembling hands, he took another step forward, daring to challenge the darkness one last time. "I am stronger than my fears. I choose love over hate." As the declaration echoed in the night, the shadows metamorphosed into something more monstrous. Silhouettes morphed into twisted shapes, their howls now a cacophony of chaos, merging into one chilling conclusion: Daniel had awakened something in the darkness, something monstrous and primal, and he now faced the horrifying truth that freedom wasn't as simple as he had thought. What terrifying reality awaited him in the depths of confrontation? The night pressed around them like a living being, each pulse thick with dark energy, but in that heavy silence, a spark ignited in Daniel's chest. He stood at the heart of the storm, the altar before him housing the burden of truths both personal and shared. The shadows writhed, faces of doubt leering with curses of despair, but he could feel the warmth of Sarah and Lisa solidly anchored behind him. "Daniel!" Lisa's voice rang out, sharp with urgency. "You have to keep going. Don't let them stop you." His heart raced, fueled by her encouragement. Fear twisted inside him but mingled miraculously with courage. The struggle of past failures, the crumbling walls of his childhood insecurities, they all clamored to emerge, desperate to be acknowledged. Taking a deep breath, Daniel steadied himself. "I've made mistakes that haunt me like ghosts," he cried into the night air, his voice trembling but rising stronger. "I regret not seeing the love around me, the people who cared. I was blind, pushing everyone away, and now I fear it's too late." Bright cascades of light surged from the altar, cascading in waves that washed over the shadows. They shrieked, twisting and cracking like dry leaves. "What do you want from me?" he shouted. "Do you want me to be perfect? To be something I can never be?" The doubt flowed, unfiltered and raw. "I'm flawed and I'm terrified of losing my chance to truly love." The shadows recoiled, momentarily stunned by the power of honesty. "It's not enough." The malicious voice of the man echoed from the dark, taunting. "You need more than mere confessions. You need to face the truth, your truth." Daniel swallowed, feeling the weight of their shouts settle heavily in the air. This time, he wasn't just speaking, he was confronting the very core of what held him down. "I'm not just afraid of losing people, I fear I'll never find my way back to them if I fall into darkness." Above him, the glow intensified, igniting the world around him as if the stars themselves had manifested to support his fight. The shadows screeched at the radiant light, fear clawing and dragging at them in vain, desperate to shroud the brightness that now enveloped him. He turned, meeting the eyes of the stranger who had led them here. "What do I do next?" "Confess your strength," he instructed, unwavering against the tumult. "Tell the darkness it cannot claim you." Breath heavy, Daniel stood taller. "I choose to confront my past, to face it head-on. The time for running is over." Each word radiated with newfound purpose. I will love despite the pain. I will fight for what truly matters. The altar pulsated with energy as beams of light pierced through the darkness, illuminating the tangled figures wrapped in despair. The shadows let out a bone-chilling wail, twisted forms fluttering in distress like dying embers caught in a tempest. What ya gonna do, hero? The man sneered, dripping with disdain. You'll break before the dawn. You are doomed to fall. But his laughter was fraying, crackling against Daniel's unwavering resolve. The shadows seethed, leaping and flicking like flames under duress. I'm not alone. Daniel shouted back, echoing the truth that had surged through him, a truth that rippled outside his heart into the lives of his friends. I have Lisa and Sarah. And together, we face this darkness as one. With that proclamation, a blinding flash erupted from the altar, washing over them like a cleansing river. Daniel felt the shadows recoil as if repelled by the strength of their unity. The laughter faded, replaced by a roar of anguish, twisting the darkness back into itself until it began to dissolve, smoke dissipating beneath the light. Stay strong. The stranger called, urging them forward into the brightness bloomed. In the flow of radiant energy, Sarah and Lisa emerged beside him, their fingers intertwined with his. They stood as unwavering pillars, a trio against the storm. It was as if the very cosmos had aligned, their spirits rising and echoing a melody of freedom. As the last vestiges of darkness disintegrated in front of them, a soft light emerged from the depths of their spirits, filling the void with peace. Daniel took a step forward, beholding Sarah's worried eyes calming into relief, and Lisa's fierce determination glowing like embers. Their bond stretched across the fabric of the universe, transcending all they had faced. We did it, he breathed, heart racing with a joy that felt foreign yet liberating. The stranger bowed slightly, admiration gleaming in his eyes. You faced your fears, and in doing so, you saved not just yourselves, but all that you love. As the dawn broke over the horizon, illuminating their path anew, Daniel felt the weight of the past dissolve. A bond forged in truth, acceptance, and love sealed their fate, unraveling the darkness that had once threatened to consume them. Together, he whispered, gazing at the sunrise, we've written our own story. A story of strength, courage, and above all, love. And with that, they embraced the light, leaving the shadows far behind. You need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support for our channel, so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm and flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this epic conclusion. Don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this captivating ending. Your voice matters. Let's spread the love.